Imagine earning six figures and still checking your bank account before buying groceries. Imagine making more money than you ever thought possible, only to feel the same financial anxiety you had years earlier when you earned half as much. It sounds like a contradiction. After all, for decades, a salary of $100,000 represented financial success. It was the number people imagined would solve their money problems. Yet today, millions of people earning that exact amount say they still feel broke. Not because they're reckless, not because they're secretly buying yachts or luxury watches, but because the rules of money changed while the meaning of a six-figure salary stayed frozen in people's minds. A generation ago, earning $100,000 placed someone comfortably above the average household. In many places, it meant buying a home, raising a family, taking vacations, and still having money left to invest. Today, that same number often tells a very different story. Inflation has quietly reduced what that income can actually buy. Housing costs have risen dramatically. Health insurance has become more expensive. Childcare can rival a second mortgage. Even everyday expenses that once seemed insignificant have steadily climbed. The paycheck may look larger than ever, but purchasing power has quietly moved in the opposite direction. Then come the taxes. Most people don't actually take home the salary they see in their employment contract. Before the money even reaches a bank account, federal taxes, state taxes in many places, payroll taxes, retirement contributions, and insurance premiums begin taking their share. A $100,000 salary rarely feels like $100,000 once those deductions are gone. The number that sounded life-changing during the job interview suddenly becomes much smaller when it appears on a monthly paycheck. Now at housing. For many households, it isn't just the largest expense. It's the expense that determines everything else. In numerous major cities, rent or mortgage payments consume a significant portion of income before a single dollar is spent on food, transportation, or savings. Buying a home has become even more difficult as property prices climbed faster than wages for years. Many people earning six figures can comfortably afford monthly mortgage payments but still struggle to save the enormous down payment required to buy in the first place. Ironically, earning more doesn't always make home ownership easier if prices keep rising even faster. Lifestyle quietly enters the picture as well. Economists sometimes call it lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending often rises alongside it. The old car becomes a newer one. The small apartment becomes a larger one. Vacations become more expensive. Restaurants become more frequent. None of these decisions feel extravagant on their own. Each one seems reasonable because income has increased. But together, they quietly absorb nearly every raise. Many people don't spend recklessly. They simply spend proportionally more than they used to. Social comparison makes the situation even more complicated. Imagine two neighbors earning the same salary. One feels financially secure. The other feels permanently behind. The difference may have nothing to do with income. It may come down to expectations. Social media constantly exposes people to lifestyles that appear ordinary, but are often carefully curated. Luxury kitchens, designer clothes, expensive vacations, and new cars slowly redefine what feels normal. Without realizing it, many people stop comparing themselves to where they started and begin comparing themselves to people living entirely different financial lives. Debt quietly fills the gap. Credit cards, car loans, student loans, and personal financing make higher lifestyles feel affordable in the short term. Monthly payments seem manageable when viewed individually, but together they slowly reduce financial flexibility. A large income can disappear surprisingly quickly when every paycheck is already committed before it even arrives. Many people aren't poor because they spend too much. They're trapped because too much of tomorrow's income has already been promised to yesterday's decisions. Then there's the invisible pressure of modern life. Saving for retirement, building an emergency fund, paying rising insurance costs, helping aging parents, supporting children, and preparing for unexpected expenses all compete for the same paycheck. Financial success today often requires paying for risks that previous generations either didn't face or faced on a much smaller scale. The goalposts keep moving. Just when one financial milestone is reached, another appears further ahead. This is where the psychology becomes interesting. Humans rarely judge wealth in absolute terms. We judge it relative to our surroundings. Someone earning $100,000 in one city may feel wealthy. Someone earning exactly the same amount in another may feel like they're barely surviving. Cost of living changes the meaning of income. So does the company we keep. A salary isn't simply a number. It's a number measured against prices, expectations, and the lifestyles of everyone around us. Perhaps the biggest misunderstanding is believing that income alone determines financial security. It doesn't. Wealth and income are not the same thing. Income is what enters your bank account. Wealth is what stays after spending, investing, and time begin doing their work. Two people can earn the same six-figure salary for 10 years and end up with completely different financial futures, depending on how much they own, how much they owe, and how consistently they invest. One builds assets. The other builds obligations. That's why so many people making $100,000 a year still feel broke. They're living inside an economy where prices rise faster than expectations adjust, where convenience is constantly marketed, where comparison never stops, and where earning more doesn't automatically create financial freedom. The uncomfortable truth is that six figures is no longer a destination. In many places, it's simply the price of staying in the game. And if the number that once represented success no longer feels like enough, perhaps the bigger question isn't how much money people earn. Perhaps it's how expensive modern life has quietly become.